Hey, girl. Come here, baby. Come here. Come on. Good girl. Good girl. How's Daddy's baby? Good girl. Good girl. Hey there. How y'all doing? This is Steve, and I help people create and live their best life. In today's video, I want to talk to you kind of about the negatives, or what are the things that are the disadvantages of living in a van or van life and being on the road. And so for me, to help me remember, because I never edit a video, I just take them in one take. And so to help me remember, I've created 6 things, all starting with the letter S, that will help you remember some of the things that you really want to research on before you go out and get that van and hit the road. So you really want to kind of take these into consideration to see, is van life really for me? And if you can say yes to these, then obviously hit the road. Now, the one thing I'm going to say before we get started, though, is sometimes we just let fear kind of be the thing that stops us. Fear is really your only enemy. For all the different things that will come up, the objections, I know I had several before I started. There's always steps we can take to overcome those, and we can't let those things be showstoppers. Matter of fact, my first two S's, was something that I really thought about for a year before I ever started van life. And so don't make the same mistake that I did. Okay, so here are the 6 S's. S number 1 is a shower. How in the world do you take a shower in a van? And so this is my biggest thing. A lot of people think about coffee like, my day doesn't start until I have a cup of coffee. For me, my day can't start until I have a shower. And so that was a really big deal. So at first, when I started van life, I kind of was paying for some campgrounds and things like that where I could take a shower. After that, when I started getting a little bit braver into the free areas and things, showers became much more difficult. But what I learned when I got out here is it's really not that big of a thing at all. First of all, it's amazing how many places you will find showers. And so I spend van life in Mexico. I know in the States and Canada, you have national gym memberships. So getting a gym membership is a great way to be able to take a shower regularly. Also, you kind of have to get through that, kind of past that thing of I have to have this really hot, warm shower every single day. I've used everything from a water bottle to kind of just spray down. It's amazing what you can do with a washcloth, a bowl of water, and a bar of soap. Baby wipes. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, although those are not very biodegradable, so I don't use those very often, but that is an option. I've also carry a water hose with me. Every place, a gas station has a water hose that you can turn a water hose and you can kind of bathe and shower down. So there's all kinds of places that have showers. Matter of fact, the app that many van life people use, and I, including myself, is iOverlander. On there, they actually have showers where you can, pay a little bit of money to go in and take a shower. There's truck stops. So there's all kinds of ways to take a shower, but you kind of have to get over the thing of every morning I'm going to wake up to some beautiful, wonderful, luxurious bathroom and take a wonderful shower. You've got to just kind of pass that. Doesn't mean you're not going to be clean. There's all kinds of ways to get clean, what I'm saying. So showers turned out for me to be not nearly as big of a problem as I really thought it would be. The second S, and the only word I can think of the bathroom in S is to say the word shitter. So maybe I'm not supposed to say that on YouTube. But the shitter, where in the world do you go to the bathroom? So here's the thing. If I'm van lifing close to a city, there's 1,000 places you can stop and go to the restroom. And if you're out in a place where there is no, you're not in the city, you're way out, then you're out far enough where you don't really need a bathroom at all. You can go behind the bush, behind the tree, that type of thing. So you got to get used to and comfortable for that. The other thing that I do have is what I'm sitting on right now. This is actually a porta potty. And I thought this was going to be really disgustingly bad. And I'm very crazy on kind of hygiene stuff. And so I thought this was going to be a big thing, and it was way better than I thought. And so I've only used it one time in my months and months on the road, one emergency, every other time, never an issue. But it ain't a bad idea to have something like this, although a lot of van people don't like to have a toilet in their van at all. So this right here, what's cool is, obviously you plop down and you go, you flush, and everything goes into this bottom section down here. And then I was thinking, okay, one, it's gonna stink up my van. It did, and there's so much detergent and sanitizer in there, it completely deodorizes everything. And then at the bottom of that, which I won't show you, I won't make this any more disgusting than it has to be, there is a pipe, and you just open up the pipe, put that in, like if you go to a campground or a dumping station, or even into a toilet, you can just open up that pipe and everything just flows out. You don't see anything, you don't smell anything because of the deodorizer. So this is actually very pleasant surprise. When I got my van, this was included in it, and I thought I'll never use it. It's completely, totally disgusting. And it turned out pretty darn good option after all. A lot of people I know, friends of mine who do this, use, you know, plastic bags and all that. This is a good solution, as well as, again, you know, your grocery stores, your gas stations. I know for those of you in Mexico, since I'm in Mexico, I've really come fond of the pay bathroom for, you know, 3 pesos, 5 pesos, which is, you know, let's say 25 cents, let's say max. You can go into a bathroom that's very, very clean, very, very hygienic, because they have, you know, because you're paying, it's extra clean. So we've got the shower and the shitter thing taken care of. Those are not nearly as big of an issue. The third one is safety, right? Security. How safe is it? So again, a lot of van life people, like on YouTube, are in Canada, they're in the US, probably there. This is maybe a horrible thing for me to say, but it's just kind of what I'm thinking. Probably I'm more comfortable to pull over the side of the road there than I am in maybe some other countries. And so I'm in Mexico. That was a real fear of mine when I started. So the first few months, I did a lot of campgrounds and things like that, where I was spending some money. And so I developed some safety protocols, some security protocols, that would give me a little bit more security when I'm staying in places where I'm not paying. And so I've transitioned to where I'm going from paying all the time to very seldom ever paying. So whenever I go to park in a place, and I don't really do the Walmarts and grocery stores. A lot of people do like those locations, just not quite for me. I'm usually out in the wilderness somewhere. I always back into my spot. And so that way, if something does happen, I can simply throw my keys in the ignition and I can take off out of there. Also, I leave my keys in the exact same spot every single night. So I know if I have to wake up quickly, I know exactly where my keys are. Obviously, the doors are locked before I go to bed. My dog sleeps in my bed. And so, you know, if anybody comes up close to the van, she's going to be barking, which will give me time to, you know, jump in the seat. And then the last thing I'm going to show you is something that is kind of against my principles to show you, because I believe, you know, thoughts become things. The things you think about become real. And so I don't want to put emphasis on this, but I do carry a police baton as well. So just in case something did happen, but again, I don't want to put emphasis on that because I don't want my thoughts to become reality where I actually need to use it. So that's the security component. The fourth S I'll give you, something that you got to kind of decide for yourself, is your space. Obviously, it's a very, very small space. If you can kind of see inside my van right now, pretty small space. My bed is there. It's very messy right now, and I left it out that way for this video specifically. It's really not that messy. I have 3 or 4 pieces of clothes in my bed, a few things on my countertop, my stove, and so all it takes is a few things out of place, and your entire van looks like a disaster because it's such a small area. And so you really have to stay organized, and things really have to kind of stay in its place. The other thing about that small space is it gets dirty very fast, because again, you're living in such a small area. That area, you know, you track in dirt, the dog's in and out, the dog's jumping up in the bed. So it's like a daily cleaning process, an organization process that you really have to take into consideration. So again, the disadvantages so far: the shower, the shitter, the space, and the security. The fifth one I'll say is the socialization component. One, if you're out on the road, you're kind of by yourself a lot. It's a lot of alone time. Lots of times you don't have internet. You might not have, you know, Wi-Fi or even a cell phone signal, the places that I go. So you're not in constant contact with people. I remember when I first got my van, it's like the first day I'm driving down the road, and a buddy of mine messaged me and says, you know, what are you kind of thinking about with this van? And I said, you know, I got some fear kind of coming up. He's like, well, what do you think that is? And I said, well, I'm thinking about going on a date. I meet a girl, and then I said, hey, you want to come back to my place? And it's a van. So in other words, it's going to affect your social life. So how important is that social life to you? Sometimes, just to feel like I could get a date, I drive by the homeless area just so it looks like I actually, no, I'm kidding when I say that. They're too busy smoking crack, don't worry. So no, completely, totally joking. So but you do have to look in the social aspect of what this van life entails for you. So I think I've gotten 5 S's. I have one more S. Oh, the 6th S, excuse me, is service, or in other words, maintenance, servicing your van. I am not the most mechanically inclined guy in the world. And so that's kind of a big deal, because now think of home repairs car repairs all into one. And so I have an older van. Things break down. When you're driving all the time, you're living in it all the time, you're going to break things are going to fall apart. And so you kind of have to be a little bit of a handyman or be prepared to fix it, or make sure in your budget, your monthly budget, is repairs on your vehicle, because you are going to have issues with your vehicle. It is just the way it is if you're going to live in a van. So those are the 6 S's, the 6 things that I think you really need to kind of look at before you take out on the road. I will say this though, if maybe 2 or 3 of those you're a little uncertain about, I would strongly, highly encourage you to take a weekend away in a van. Sleep in an SUV or car if that's all you had. Just do it for a weekend. Kind of test drive the idea a little bit, because here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to say, I feel called to this, I feel led to this, but then all this fear comes up. The other day I was in one of my social media groups, and somebody asked a question about, how many of you would like to do like a van life, or to get out, just kind of, leave normal life and go out there and kind of wing it. And hundreds of people were responding, yes. And then here came all the excuses. And I read through these, all they were excuses. It was, well, do I have a monthly budget to do it? Or here's this issue, or here's this reason why. Fear is the ultimate enemy. And that's not just about, making a huge transitional thing like this, a lifestyle change. It's in every component of life. Every component of life, fear is your enemy that will stop you. And the question I always have my clients, for example, answer for themselves is, what step can I take from where I'm at with what I have? If I really want to get into van life, but I don't really have the money to buy a van, let's say, well, could I trade a car in for it? Could I, what kind of van would I buy? What would I like to have? Where would I go on my trip? In other words, I can begin planning the trip even before I got the van or the RV, what have you. So there's always a step you can take to move in the direction of your dream, and that's what I'm always about, is really helping people move in the direction of their dream. So if you like this video, if you like the content that I'm doing, then please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Also hit that little bell and turn on the notifications. That way, as I produce new content, you'll be alerted that it's there. And so this has been so much fun already. I hope you can see the excitement in me in doing this. And I hope you get excited about living your best life as well. Peace out. Love you.